The following attraction is scheduled for one show with a 45-minute time limit.
Welcome back to Wrestling with Egos, now a triple threat match scheduled for one show.
One show.
With a 45-minute time limit. My name's Patrick. I am joined, as I am each and every week, by my best friends Brian and now RJ, because RJ thought he was banned from the show, and I just thought he didn't want to have anything to do with my ass. Because, you know, I'm annoying, and I thought he was, F this shit, I'm out.
It's all about perspective, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. Yes, it's all about perspective, and it's all about Jenny knocking over Captain America. Thank you, Jenny. Of course, you know, I'm doing the show from the living room. The princess has to make her appearance. Again, welcome to Wrestling with Egos. You guys have already seen the social media stuff under our beautiful faces and all of our contact information. We're not going to just sit here and talk about that because we got a lot more shit we got to do. First and foremost, let's get to saying hi to everybody. RJ, missed you, man. Sorry about the miscommunication. You were definitely not banned from this son bitch.
I am also sorry about the miscommunication. It's all good. It's just, I'm happy to be back.
Hashtag shit happens.
Yeah, right. Sure.
And Brian, what's up? What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. We were dispensing with good, bad, and the ugly this week, but I do have an ugly from last week that we didn't get to share.
Okay.
And I want to get it in really quick. Ugly is the fact that I am watching, like no joke, on YouTube, Xavier Woods, Cesaro, Adam Cole, and Tyler Breeze play Uno on Up, Up, Down, Down. I need to snap out of it.
No. Do not snap out of that. That is funny as hell.
It is, but geez, what are we doing? I mean, I need some wrestling content in my life.
Let's kind of sidebar real quick, and it's kind of wrestling, but also kind of video gamey, because all three of us, to a degree, are gamers. But have you guys ever noticed Cesaro, one of the most serious dudes in like all of wrestling, when it comes to like gaming and stuff like that? Oh my God, is he competitive?
Yeah.
Holy crap. He is a freaking murderer. And if you want something really funny, start watching season 2 of Rollout on Up, Up, Down, Down, the Dungeons and Dragons thing. Ember Moon and Alexa Bliss are both crazy. I mean, those two, they're into it, they're really enjoying it, and they're having a lot of fun with it, but those two are just nuts, and it's just silly. And Brian, just like you and I last week, we just talked fun stuff. We really didn't talk anything topical. And guys, thank you guys so much for the feedback on last week's show. It was just good to talk fun stuff and, you know, things that brought us joy in wrestling and things of that nature. But yeah, that's just stuff that's just feel goods, man. So before we get on with this week's show and and hit the bell and everything else, RJ, one question for you, since you were not able to join us last week. If I were to ask you to name the one thing in professional wrestling that has brought you the most joy as a fan, like the one moment or the one person or the one vignette or anything, what would you say is like your ultimate, yes, this will never, your ultimate hell yes moment? Kind of like, you know, how I always feel, and I referenced this last week, how I do feel and will always feel about the kick 6 against Alabama in the Iron Bowl.
Right. That's so unbelievably easy. It recently changed just last year, actually. The happiest moment for me ever was Kenny Omega finally beating Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at Dominion. I sobbed like a little baby I have no problem admitting it. I was so unbelievably happy. And then when the Young Bucks came out, because I was so invested in that whole story. I mean, like, I'm so invested in all those guys and have been for a long time. So I was like super invested in this whole Matt and Nick are mad at Kenny because Cody's trying to take over the Bullet Club and all that stuff that happened. That in the background of all of that, Kenny's wrestling Okada multiple times over several years, and he just can't get over the hump. He can draw with him, and he just can't get. So he beat him, but when he beat him, it wasn't for the championship, and it was just like it was the culmination of what felt to me like 2 years of being so invested in this storyline and so invested in this one character and loving him so much. And just when he finally won the championship, it was 7:00 in the morning here, and I was watching it live in my basement, sobbing like a little child while my actual children were sleeping upstairs. It was that it's not even close. I still have the picture of after the Bucks came out and they all hugged, and Kota Ibushi came out and they all hugged and they formed the Golden Elite is what they called it, and they all made up and were friends again. I still have the picture of that when they all posed. I still have that picture saved on my phone. I like delete stuff off my phone as to make room. You know how you do. Like you back it up and then you delete it off your phone. That picture has its own album. That album is backed up, but never is set to never be deleted. That picture is on my phone all the time. That is the happiest moment in wrestling for me. It's not close.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Since you missed it, mine was pretty. We'll kind of recap that real quick. Mine was easy as well, and mine changed very recently, as of January of this year, with the return of Edge. As I've explained on this show multiple times, Edge has been my guy in like this generation because he was the first guy that could really say, I was all in on him at the very beginning of his WWE career. Like, this guy's cool. I'm on board. I like this guy. And I never stopped liking the guy. I booed him because he was a bad guy when he was the ultimate opportunist and he was in line with Vicky Guerrero and all that. I booed the hell out of him. But that was still one of my dudes. Then he retired. And I cried like a baby because that's my dude. And then entrant number 21 in the Rumble. And I'm done. Because I hoped it was going to happen, but I didn't expect it. And everything about it was perfect. And I'm like, as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate that more. Brian, I can't remember yours.
Well, I'll reiterate the one that got the most oohs out of you, because 4 of mine were pretty predictable. But I think the one that surprised you the most was the Chris Jericho Triple H match from that Raw in 2000 at Penn State University, where Hebner kind of fast counted him, and for 40 minutes or whatever, Jericho was the champion.
Right.
That reaction from the crowd and that whoa, and you kind of thought, okay, Jericho's arrived, and yeah, he had to give the belt back by the end of the night because of the angle with the Authority then the McMahon Helmsley faction, the Authority. It's too early for that.
You called them the faction.
Right. But I think that was the one from my list that you had the best reaction to out of all of them, because some of mine were pretty predictable. The Bayley Sasha match from TakeOver Respect and seeing Shinsuke for the first time and Rock beating Punk at the Royal Rumble in 2012 and all that. Those were kind of predictable ones, but that Jericho Triple H one, I think, was a more unpredictable one that I shared with everyone.
Yeah, absolutely right. So
another one that I'll mention, if it wasn't that, was probably I sure did lose my crap when AJ Styles came out in the Royal Rumble the year he signed with WWE.
I mean, I'll crap on that one too. I enjoy watching AJ Styles, but I would never consider myself a mega AJ Styles fan. I enjoy his work. I love his work. But there's a difference in loving a guy's work and him being your dude.
Right, for sure. AJ was, back in those TNA days, AJ was always my guy. Adrian knew who AJ Styles was when he debuted in WWE. Not because I watched him in New Japan or anything like she knew of AJ because I was such a huge AJ Styles fan when he was young in TNA and tearing it up down there.
When he had short hair and 2 earrings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick. Well, actually, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. As we've said, the following attraction is scheduled for one show with a 45-minute time limit, and there's the bell. Time to get topical, boys and girls. Let's start off with RJ's favorite 3 letters in the entire world, WWE. I mean, AEW. That's right. And let's talk the AEW TNT tournament. Real quick, RJ, you'll enjoy this. I think it was Lance Archer's second match in AEW, not the one where he beat the piss out of Marco Stunt, the next one. Mrs. Rant Modon and I are watching Dynamite, and she's looking at Archer and just, oh my God, this guy's terrifying. And they get a shot of his back and, all that massive tattoo on his back. And she's like, is that? I'm like, 3 crosses? Yeah. She went, so you mean to tell me a guy that calls himself the Murder Hawk Monster is a Christian? I went, oh yeah.
Very Christian.
She's like, doesn't surprise me, like people like AJ or Jericho are Christians, but that guy looks scary.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's probably more deep in his faith than anybody in wrestling not named Sting or Shawn Michaels.
For sure.
And so I got a kick out of that. Just seeing a woman that got me back in church, just going, what?
Right.
So anyway, let's talk AEW TNT tournament because the finals are set for Double or Nothing. It is Lance Archer versus the American Nightmare Cody. And this past week on Dynamite, we got another Cody Darby Allin match. Can we just have a best of 45 series with Cody and Darby Allin? Son of a gun. Because this is the 3rd or 4th time they've touched in singles competition.
At least the 3rd.
All 3 matches have been 100% different.
Yep.
Nothing has been the same. And it's just been beautiful to watch. Cody is probably my favorite AEW star to watch. But man, Darby Allin is so freaking good.
Oh, he's so awesome.
I mean, it's just, he's very effortless. You know who he reminds me of in just terms of how it doesn't seem like he's working hard, but it's just, holy crap, Adam Cole.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that.
Because Adam Cole, when he works, if you watch him, it's smooth and it looks effortless.
Eddie was like that too.
Oh, yeah. Eddie was like that too. But Eddie had a lot more aggression and was more physical. But it was still smooth. Darby Allin is just, it's fast, but it's fluid, and it's just, it looks effortless.
Yeah, the kid is amazing.
Even though he works at a breakneck pace. So, God, it's just fun. But we got a great classic in that one. And then Lance Archer goes over on Dustin Rhodes. Jesus. We've asked this question about Chris Jericho. How is Dustin Rhodes at what, 51?
I think they said he was 51, yeah.
50 something, cranking out these kinds of matches.
Right.
I mean, look at other people in wrestling that are of that age that are still working part-time. Dustin's working full-time, by the way, boys and girls. You've got Taker, plus 50. Shawn, plus 50. Hunter, plus 50. And especially for Hunter, Hunter's the only one of those three that's still in really good shape. Dustin is never really looked like he's been in the best of shape.
Right.
He's not a physical specimen, as Keith Lee would say. Excuse me. But he's having these just all-star matches week after week after week on Dynamite.
I think what they're doing with Dustin is they've identified what's in his skill set, what can he do well, and anybody that he's been in the ring with has understood that and tried to mold their game around his, so that they both come off looking good. And isn't that what anybody wants in a wrestling match? You don't want one guy looking like a world beater and the other guy looking like the drizzling you-know-whats. You know, you want both guys coming off looking like great professional wrestlers. And I think AEW gets that about as well as anybody. We can't say that about NXT matches all the time. We certainly can't say that about the matches that we see on Raw and SmackDown all the time. But AEW, I think they've done a great job. You know, RJ, I'm sure, could, and I know, Patrick, you can too. You can go 30 wrestlers deep on AEW.
Yeah. Oh, God,
that
yeah.
Can all put on a quality match, pay-per-view or not. AEW Dark or not. You know, they're going to put on a quality match because that's what they understand their fans are tuning in to see.
Right. Because as we've discussed on this show, AEW is a wrestling show. NXT is a wrestling show. Raw and SmackDown are not.
Oh.
Brian, your boy Finn Balor said it best. Raw and SmackDown are Hollywood, NXT, and you can put AEW in this conversation as well. The Wednesday night shows are Broadway.
I thought that was one of the most intelligent and on-the-nose things anybody has ever said on a wrestling show. I thought when he said that, it blew my mind. I was like, wow, that is absolutely factual.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And this, boys and girls, this is why if you were to ask any of the three of us, you know, our answers will differ. Like, which show will you make damn sure you're going to watch each and every week? Our answers are going to differ. RJ's going to say Dynamite. I'm going to say NXT. Brian will probably, I would guess, would say NXT. I might be wrong. B?
I mean, now I still watch Raw every week.
But
whether I got my thumb hovering over the fast forward button or not,
right.
You know,
But
NXT I pretty much watch start to finish without fast forwarding.
Exactly. The point that I'm trying to make is what we want to watch each and every week is what we see on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Right.
Not Monday or Friday. We like Broadway. And in wrestling terms, and at least one person on this show's terms, actual Broadway. That person will not be named. I am not going to out the person that enjoys Broadway.
I don't know that you need to.
Book of Mormon is fucking hilarious. That's just all there is to it. And you
moving right along.
Yeah, no. real quick, you also get an appreciation as a dad when you realize that Broadway singers are now becoming Disney characters who sing that happen to be in the movies, the two movies that your daughters like most. Because the chick that played the Wicked Witch of the West in Wicked became Elsa. And damn, she can sing.
Yes, she can.
Yes,
Yes,
she can.
like, moving right along. I need to make a graphic.
Because I may never get another chance to say this. The chick that played the Wicked Witch of the West in Wicked and is also in Frozen and is Elsa, she was also on Glee.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
She played Shelby Corcoran on Glee. And she can sing there too.
Yeah. And then one of my Hollywood crushes, Kristen Bell, is in there too. So anyway, moving right along. I need to find a graphic for moving right along. But I got a question. We're staying on the TNT tournament, and we'll get into the finals here in a second. This is kind of the prelude. I was thinking about this today at work. And RJ, you might have to lawyer up on this one and be like the defense attorney for AEW. I got a critique, and I'm not real sure if this is valid or not. Okay, I'm starting to feel with AEW that way too many things are revolving around Cody. And here's why. Number one, we have this, what was it, Full Gear when Cody and Jericho faced for the title?
Yeah.
All right. We had this match at Full Gear, and Cody has this promo. I believe it was the stupid dick promo, where he also says, if I don't beat Jericho, I'm never going to contend for the title again. Okay. First off, we have to mention that almost as much as we have to mention the fact that Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, is a dentist in real life.
He's a what?
Wait a minute.
I know.
You said what now?
Easy.
Yeah. Breaking news.
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, is actually Dr. Brittany Baker. She is a dentist. But, we have to hear Cody can't challenge for the world title. And even though he's the number one ranked guy in AEW right now, he can't contend for the world title.
Yep.
And I guess from my perspective, it's kind of a jaded wrestling fan, because I would probably say the same thing if this were happening in NXT. Okay, Cody can't contend for the world title. Cody can't contend for the world title. Oh, of course he's in the finals for the TNT tournament.
You knew he was, as soon as they announced the brackets, I was like, oh, well, Cody's at least making it to the finals and probably winning the whole thing because it's the only thing he can win.
Right. And I'm sorry, but I kind of feel like, and I wouldn't say I'm feeling Roman Reigns on this one, because I'm now to the point where I've come to realize that we chose Roman Reigns and then we turned on him, just like we chose Cena and blah 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 blah. I kind of feel like with Cody, we're actually getting Cody rammed down our throats.
It does feel that way a little.
Really?
I agree.
I'm shocked.
So when he left WWE, a lot of the perception amongst people like me who follow outside of WWE way more than follow WWE, the perception of him completely changed because he had this list. I don't know if you know about this, but he had this list of people that he wanted to wrestle. when he left WWE, and it was a who's who of everybody on the indie. And he's going down this list, and he's having bangers with all these guys. And like the perception of Cody became, this dude can actually go. Like it didn't seem like WWE was wasting him, but maybe they did. And he became Ring of Honor World Champion, and he's having these bangers in New Japan, and it's just the complete perception about him totally changed. And I think that AEW is looking at him, and it pains me to say this, because let me preface this by saying I love Cody. Huge Cody fan. I got the Cody Pop right there. I got the Pharaoh right there. I got a poster of him on my wall over there. I'm a big, I am Nightmare family. Like, I love Cody. I think that AEW is treating him as a bigger star than he is. And it's hurting the company as a whole, because there are so many things since the inception of the television show that have completely revolved around him. And a lot of people leading up to the inception of AEW and when it first started coming on TV were scared that what was going to happen was going to be that the EVPs were just going to push themselves and they were going to be the biggest stars of the company because they run the company. You've seen that not be true with Kenny and the Young Bucks.
Right.
It has been true with Cody, but it's not him pushing himself. It's Tony Khan wanting Cody to be the guy, and I just don't know that he is. I want him to be so bad, and I just don't think that he's as big of a star as they want him to be. To have the whole of a whole, every week, the whole television show, we're mentioning that Cody can't challenge. We're finding a way to mention that Cody can't challenge for the world title, whether he's on the screen or not. Like, they're saying it 4 or 5 times. They're finding ways to bring it up when he's not even wrestling. Like, Darby Allin's wrestling Sammy Guevara, and they're like, well, remember, the winner of this match has to face Cody, and he can't challenge for the world title. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's the whole of everything is revolving around him, and that is 100% a critique that I am absolutely with. It's my biggest pet peeve since the inception of Dynamite, is that every week, every show has revolved around Cody or the Elite in some way, with Cody being the head of the Elite, and it's driving me crazy.
So, RJ, here's a follow-up question to that. You're in the production meeting. You've identified this as an issue. You're reading, you're reading the posts on your social media feeds and everything like that, and you're getting, you realize that you're getting this critique over and over again. How do you fix it?
Right now, at this moment, the way I fix it is that Lance Archer wins the tournament, destroys Cody so much he's off TV for a month.
I was going to say the exact same freaking thing.
You take him off television. He loses to Lance Archer, who has already proven that he can destroy anybody you put him in the ring with, because Cody's Dustin, and I said Cody's brother on purpose because he's Cody's brother Dustin. Cody's brother Dustin is way bigger than anybody gives him credit for most of the time. Like, he's deceptively big. When you see him in there with Lance Archer, they're like eye to eye. They're toe to toe. They're the same height. They're both big guys, and Lance Archer just destroys this guy. So we've seen him just destroy everybody. You have him do the same thing to Cody, and then you take Cody off TV for a month or a month and a half or 2 months, and you make yourself produce TV that isn't centered around him.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to figure out how to do it eventually.
Yeah. That's actually a really good point. I personally don't. Here's my thing concerning the TNT Championship. As much as you have built up Lance Archer, as much as you have allowed Jake Roberts to cut these Jake Roberts-esque promos, I mean, there's the only way to call it. It's not like Jake Roberts is cutting these Herculean promos. No. When it comes to promos, Jake Roberts is Hercules.
Right.
So his Herculean effort in a promo is just Jake being Jake. Jake Roberts does what Jake Roberts does better than 99.9% of guys in the history of wrestling. And you do all of this for Archer. If Cody I'm going to be honest. If Cody goes over, I'm probably taking a break from Dynamite because I'm just like, what the hell?
I mean, I'll never do that. But like,
I know you won't, but I'm like, okay.
I agree. The way that I 100% agree. The way that they have built Archer, Cody going over makes no sense.
You know what it would remind me of? WCW.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Absolutely.
Let's build this guy. Let's build this guy. Let's build this guy. Let's feed him to Hogan.
Absolutely.
Let's feed him to Hall and Nash. Let's have the NWO beat the piss out of it. And then we'll never see him again.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But I kind of have this sinking feeling.
Me too.
I'm starting to have feelings about AEW like I've had with WWE for the last several years. I'm waiting for them to find a way to screw this up.
I agree. One thing that I see, me being an apologist, if I'm going to say all these negative things, I have to say something positive. The empty arena has been done so much better by AEW than it has been done in WWE. I can't watch WWE television anymore because they haven't done it well. Like, I can't watch their show with no fans. They have not done it well at all. Whereas AEW seems to have not missed a beat. Sometimes I forget there's no fans there. Which, by the way, did you guys see what the governor of Florida said today?
No.
Starting next week, they are going to allow both WWE and AEW, and I'm assuming other things too. But the news story I saw was a wrestling story. So WWE and AEW are going to be allowed to film in front of fans at Daly's Place, and I think it was the Performance Center. It might be somewhere else. I'm not positive. At 25% capacity.
That's awesome. And I would probably guarantee it'd probably either be at the PC for WWE or Full Sail Live.
Right. It's one of the two. I can't remember what the article said, but it was one of the two. And for AEW, it was Daly's Place in Jacksonville.
Right. Places that the company owns / has access to at all points in time.
Right. Absolutely.
AEW doesn't necessarily own Daly's Place, but a guy named Shad Khan does. Shad Khan just happens to be the father of Tony.
Did you see him at the NFL draft in his pajamas? That was the best.
Oh my God, yes. Shad Khan is probably, just some of the interviews that I've heard with him, one of like the chillest owners in the history of professional sports. I would literally put him, I would love to have dinner. If we're talking just dinner with just sports owners and but you got to pick chill guys. I would love to sit down with Shad Khan, Mark Cuban, and Steve Ballinger that owns the Clippers and just go, "Sup, guys?"
Absolutely.
Because Ballinger is just this massive.
Oh God, he's
son of a bitch. It's just fiery as hell. My God, I would love to see him own a wrestling company.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. He's one of my favorite stories ever. He's a Clippers fan that had enough money to buy the Clippers when they came up for sale. Like, that is the coolest.
Right. And he happened because he invested heavily in Microsoft at the very beginning.
Right.
You know, when they went public, his name was on the fucking masthead. As soon as it went public, he looks at Bill Gates and goes, "All right, I'm going to head out."
Right.
Took the money and ran. And that's exactly, and Bill Gates knew he was going to do it.
Right, for sure. Absolutely.
And then, Donald Sterling gets outed as one of the biggest racist assholes in the world, and Ballmer just goes, "Give me my points."
No doubt.
Yeah, good shit, pal. Speaking of good shit, pal, before we get into other things related to Wednesday Night Wrestling, RJ, since we missed you over the last couple of weeks, how did you feel about both the Boneyard match at the Firefly Funhouse?
They were two of the best things I've ever watched in my wrestling fandom ever. They were phenomenal. I don't have my notes with me, but I wrote a thing about the Firefly Funhouse match. I'm sure my daughters have drawn on it by now. The mental preparation and the creativity that went into both of those matches, specifically the Firefly Funhouse match, is just mind-blowing to me how they put it all together. The Boneyard match was so superbly done, so to hide the weaknesses that an old Mark Calloway has now. There's not a better way to do that ever and still make him look like the monster, the Undertaker, than to do what they did. That was so unbelievable.
Real quick, audience, ladies and germs, I don't know if you noticed this or not. If not, go back and rewind for about 15 seconds from now when RJ starts talking about this and watch Brian's face. A little smirk creeps up on his face going, yeah, I think I said that.
I would imagine so. It so well done. And the way with the Firefly Funhouse match, the way that he just forced John Cena to look inside himself and to look at his past and see, like, this is how things would have gone if you had made a different decision here. If you had been willing to put me over then, this would have happened. Like, you could have done all of this in your career, and you chose not to. And making him look at that and see it right in front of his face, it was mwah.
I also, and I don't know if you saw if you have gone back and watched that show, I called that an indictment on professional wrestling. Just going back and say, yeah, we did this, and we did this, and we did this, and they all sucked.
Right. Yep.
Did you guys see the story real quick before we get back into like NXT? Because there's some big stuff happening next week on NXT that I definitely want to talk about with 17 and a half minutes to go on the show. Well, in the conversation, really. Did you guys see the story? Someone finally asked John Moxley what he thought about the Mr. McBossman puppet saying that's good shit, pal, during the Firefly Funhouse and his reaction to it. Did you see what Moxley said? Man, I popped for it. My wife and I are sitting at home and we're watching it, and I heard that, and I just started laughing. And Moxley went out of his way to praise that match. You went, first off, that match was brilliant. The creativity in it was absolutely amazing. And for them to make that reference and kind of almost to a degree Easter egg it, I thought was just hilarious. I popped big time for it. So
that's phenomenal.
I was like, that's cool. So RJ, I asked Brian this, I'll ask you this. You got to pick one to watch every day for the rest of your life until the day you die. Which one are you picking?
Oh, that's hard.
I know. Brian?
I'd probably pick the Boneyard match, even though I like the Firefly Funhouse better. Just because it's more of a fight. It's more of a wrestling match. And I feel like I'd want to watch that every day as opposed to watching John Cena look at his past every day. I like the Firefly Funhouse more for what they were, but if I had to pick one to watch every day for the rest of my life, I would pick the Boneyard.
You know, hearing that, I probably would change my answer because I picked Firefly Funhouse. But hearing that, I'm like, you know, you're right. So let's get back into the wonderful world of wrestling. And real quick, let's go over a couple things in NXT, and then we'll get into our final part of our discussion before we get to television time remaining. And we got some big stuff happening next week, boys and girls. Number one, it's the return of the Prince. He's coming. He makes his return to NXT next week. We have Adam Cole, baby, versus the Velveteen Dream for the NXT Championship, and the debut of Karrion Kross and Scarlett.
Killer Cross. Yay.
Killer Kross. But they're calling it Karrion Kross.
I know, and that's okay. I understand.
I don't have a problem with that one.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
don't have a problem with that one. I'm looking really forward to next week. Thoughts? So real quick roundtable thoughts on that, and also kind of rewinding it a little bit because we haven't talked about this. Thoughts on Johnny and Candice as heels, because we saw Candice LeRae make her return to NXT, for lack of a better term, as a heel, as the Poison Pixie with that new finisher. Amazing name, by the way, the Wicked Stepsister. It's a curb stomp.
Oh, that's phenomenal. I like that.
The Wicked Stepsister. I'm like, oh, that's bitching.
That is good. I like it.
I will actually go on record, and I did not get a chance to mention, this was actually my bad from last week that I didn't get a chance to mention because we dispensed the good, bad, and the ugly. I hated that promo that they did when they were sitting at their dining room table eating dinner, because it came across to me as whiny.
It was supposed to.
I know it, but I just thought, wow, they're trying too hard here. And the actions speak louder than words. I get it now that, Candice is going out there and picking apart Casey Catanzaro, and I get it. And Johnny's like sliding into the ring and like, God, looking like this, and he's, flipping his legs back and forth and stuff like that. That's fine. That's good character work. I get all that. But that promo from last week, it just struck me as whiny and tone deaf. They brought up some good points, but I thought it was overlong. I thought it was overwrought. I thought it was too theatrical. Stick to what you're good at. Get in the ring, and be an ass kicker, and make people realize, okay, yeah, we did take you for granted. Okay, yeah, we did, get all caught up in the great, story about Johnny wrestling and all this kind of stuff. I am interested to see Gargano wrestle Dominik Dijakovic next week.
That'd be awesome.
Finally, now we have, we opposites attract in wrestling. Now you got Dijakovic 6'6" or 6'7" or whatever he is. We're going to see how well he can mesh with the guy who does not wrestle the same style as he does, clearly.
That'll be interesting. I will disagree with you completely on the promo, coming off as tone deaf and whiny, and I'll leave it with one word and three numbers. Heel 401. That's a heel promo. Heels do not get over just based off of their own in-ring merit. As a heel, you got to make your audience hate you. And you can't make an audience hate you if you're just a good wrestler. If AJ Styles never cut a promo, AJ Styles wouldn't get moved. It's as simple as that.
That's a fact.
So you have to do stuff like that. And I didn't see it as whiny. I saw it as nose in the air. We are better. We are going to tear down NXT and rebuild it in our image. They're seeing them. You know what they're doing? They're doing similar things that Britt Baker is doing in AEW. I am up here. You guys are down here. You're the normals. We're the 1%. I hate doing this because I'm not an MJF fan, but
I was waiting. I was gonna say it myself. Go ahead.
We're better than you and you know it. I hate using that line because I really don't like MJF. I find him about as vanilla as Dolph Ziggler. But that line's more true than anything. So, but again, Brian, that's kind of that's why we work so well on this show, because it's that heel and face dynamic. So
while Johnny Gargano is the topic, I must mention that he blocked WWE on Fox on Twitter today. WWE on Fox tweeted, "Sorry, Candice." They used their tags, obviously, but they said, "Sorry, Candice and Johnny Gargano, but Mandy Rose and Otis are the best couple in WWE right now." And then Johnny replied, "Blocked," and then posted a picture of their page, blocked.
Okay. Do you know what? Do you know why I find this so hysterical? Think about connections.
No, you know.
No, RJ. RJ and his wife are friends with Johnny and Candice. I also know the digital content producer for WWE on Fox. I know the guy that's running the whole show for WWE on Fox's social media.
That's why I wanted to tell you.
So just throwing names out there. Johnny, friend of RJ's, blocked Guillermo, friend of mine.
Yikes.
RJ, what we're basically saying is you and I are sandwiched in the middle of a Twitter beef.
Right, for sure.
We are sandwiched in the middle of a freaking Twitter beef.
Breaking new ground on Wrestling with Egos.
Right here on Wrestling with Egos. By the way, the next time you talk to Johnny, you need to tell him.
I'll mention it.
You need to tell him, like, yeah, so one of my buddies is... That's awesome.
It's so funny. I was about fell out of my chair laughing when I saw it.
Oh my God. That's amazing. Well, we got 7 minutes in the show. We're probably going to run over time, but you know what? I don't care. I'm having fun.
Well, actually, if it's all the same, I think we can table the Triple H discussion until next week, because I think we'll still have not a lot of topical things.
Not a lot of content to cover.
Yeah. I
So next week, we are going to have we were going to do it this week because this past week, we celebrated 25 years of Triple H being in WWE, and I'm very surprised to see Guillermo doing this. Not Guillermo. Jesus Christ. I'm very surprised to see RJ do it. Look, I've called you JR plenty of times.
It's all good. Here's one thing you probably don't know. From the time that I was about 14 until my early 20s, Triple H was my favorite wrestler.
Oh, nice.
I knew that.
You did know that.
I didn't. I also knew
information.
Insider information. Now, I also knew that at Brian the Lovebird's wedding reception, the Lovebird made her entrance into the ballroom to Triple H's music. But so next week,
and we use the term celebrate loosely, because what they did on SmackDown was not a celebration; it was a roast. And I don't, and that was really what made me want to do this, was because if you're going to celebrate the guy, celebrate him. Don't go farce on us.
I thought the roast was funny because Triple H is probably the only guy in the history in WWE that you could legitimately do that to, because as serious as of a competitor is he has been, both as a heel and as a face, it has also been very well documented his sense of humor.
Yeah,
which is warped. He is.
But we hear Wrestling with Egos want to, do it right for Triple H, because we understand what an important figure he is in the wrestling industry. So next week, with, the deck's cleared of anything topical, presumably, we will have time to unpack it and share our favorite moments of his career, the pivotal moments of his career, if you will. But we have some business to take care of. There is a homework assignment that has been out there for 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're coming to the end of the semester here, boys and girls. And you want to make sure that even though schools are closed around the state of Ohio, and even though you may have opted for that pass-fail option, we still want to make sure you get that passing grade on your progress report as opposed to the alternative. So I will remind everybody what the homework assignment was. Seek it out on YouTube or get that New Japan subscription, if you will, because your boy actually dispensed New Japan Pro Wrestling homework.
I was very happy when I heard that.
This is not a drill. This is actually happening. This is legitimate. This is real. Your boy gave out a New Japan homework assignment. This is what we call evolution in the biz, if you will. I take you back to the year 2015 and that G1 Climax action.
That's part of my year.
It was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kazuchika Okada. I think this was either an A group or B group match. That was the one part that I couldn't glean from the website. It was not the finals. It was
the final. It was the group final. It was the winner final, or the block final. The winner goes to the final.
Yes. And I will give my thoughts on this match really quick before getting out of the way for the panel to dissect it. All you need to know about me in this match, I watched it with the Japanese commentary. I about 5 minutes in, I realized that they were talking in Japanese. Didn't care. I just let it play. I'm like, we're just going to go for this. We're going to just immerse ourselves. I'm amazed, and RJ, you'll be able to speak of this a little bit better than I will probably, and Patrick, I'm sure you can speak to a little better too. I'm amazed that all the way back in 2015, how sure of himself Kazuchika Okada looked at that point. He walked out to the ring like he was a bona fide star.
He was.
I knew Nakamura would walk out the same way. I'm still a little bit fuzzy on the formation, the formative years, if you will, of Kazuchika Okada, but he walked out at this point like he owned the place. And that was what struck me. And then you have the fact of the first 5 or 6 minutes of the match, how tentative they were around each other. And I'm sure that was by design too. They were kind of like doing the little hand holds and the little, I'm going to twist you around this way and I'm going to twist you around that way. And then we're going to separate and we're going to prowl a little more. And I thought that was, I feel like I say this every time I watch a New Japan match. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before. The caginess and the strategizing and all of that stuff. Patrick, I saw you had your hand up, sir.
Yes. And Professor, I don't know if you saw my email or not, but I was having portal issues and I could not access the homework. Mainly,
you better get that figured out, sir.
I'm going to. Mainly, my New Japan World login was deleted, so I need to reacquire my login and password from the IT department. If the IT department will please raise its hand. There you go. widely known fact, we mooch off of RJ's New Japan account.
And I'm happy, believe me.
He
I
doesn't
will
care.
see your IT department, and I will raise you.
No, you can't raise after you already said call. That's not how it works.
Right.
Sorry, that's one thing that drives me nuts in movies as a poker dealer, so I had to say it.
That is my bad.
Yeah. So, RJ, since obviously I have nothing to say other than the fact of I have one question because I obviously was not watching New Japan in 2015. Correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't Okada and Nakamura? I know Okada was easily, but were both of these guys members of Chaos?
Yes, Nakamura founded Chaos, and Okada ended up coming in and took over as leader when Shinsuke left.
So at this point in this match, they're stablemates, and Nakamura is still the leader of Chaos.
Yes and no. He is still the leader. He is still recognized as the top dog in Chaos. But one thing that you have to know or remember about this particular match is that Okada comes into it as IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He is the man. It's his third reign. Shinsuke also held the belt 3 times. So they're both coming in as 3-time IWGP Heavyweight Champions. So it's Okada's starting to overtake Shinsuke as the lead member of Chaos. But he's not quite there yet, but he's getting there. Shinsuke he got a neck injury in the first match of this particular G1. He forfeited the second match. This is the first year, by the way, 2015 was the first year that they split it into blocks. So in previous years, because you would have had to wrestle every day, Shinsuke would have had to forfeit the tournament because he got hurt in the first match. But in this particular instance, he wrestled his match, and then the next day was the other block wrestling. He sat out a tag match, but that didn't matter. And then the next block match, he had to forfeit his second match. And then there was enough time between his second and third match that he ended up not having to forfeit that third match. And a lot of people were saying, well, Shinsuke benefited from them splitting this into blocks because otherwise he would have had to forfeit multiple matches and would have had no chance to be in the mix at the end. So a big part of the story coming into this is Shinsuke is coming in against a young up-and-comer who has now matched the amount of world championships Shinsuke won, is trying to overtake him, and Shinsuke has to try to hold his spot and defeat Okada injured. He hurt his neck at the beginning. Everybody's been pounding on his neck the entire time. The neck has to be hurt. You can see as he walks out and does his entrance, he's not all Shinsuke the way that he normally is. He's barely moving his head. That's all work for the neck injury that he got in the beginning of the whole tournament. I thought they played that very, very well throughout the whole match. This particular match I look at as a masterclass in how to put on a professional wrestling match. The one man comes in injured. The other man is a young up-and-comer who is trying to overtake that injured man's spot. It starts slow. It starts very tentative. You're trying to feel each other out, which is very Shinsuke Nakamura as a former MMA fighter.
Right.
You're trying to figure the other guy out. See if you can get a submission on him quick. See if you can hit him with a knockout strike early. Shinsuke did a lot of that. And then it turned into kind of an Okada match. They fought on the outside for a while, threw him into the barricade and drop kicked him over it. He hits the drop kick. He goes for rainmakers. He does his rope moonsault. The middle of the match is a very Kazuchika Okada match. At the end, Shinsuke Nakamura did what is still to this day the single greatest counter to the Rainmaker I have ever seen in my life.
I'm still shaking my head about that.
Oh my God. The counter to that Rainmaker is unbelievable. And then everything that follows that, I don't really want to give anything away because I know Patrick hasn't watched it and probably doesn't know who wins, but everything that follows the counter is masterful. It's absolutely masterfully done. Every movement means something. And I know you didn't watch it with the English commentary, Brian, so I will tell you that it's Don Callis and Kevin Kelly on the English commentary for this. And one of the things I wanted to mention about this match is that this match really pinpoints to me why Kevin Kelly is my favorite commentator in the whole world right now. He is phenomenal. He does a absolutely amazing job on this particular match. But the one point that stood out to me on commentary was Shinsuke counters the Rainmaker, starts trying to put on an armbar. They're rolling around on the ground, and Don Callis says, the worst thing Kazuchika Okada could do right now is try to stand up. And immediately when he said that, Okada stood up. And it was it was amazing. Like, it was almost like he knew it was going to happen. Like, it was, and then he even said, like that. And then he explained why Okada should not be standing right now. He's making things easier for Nakamura. And it's the commentary that it added to me so much to the end of that match when they're after that Rainmaker counter, when they're wrestling around, and that match is a masterclass to me on how you are to put on a professional wrestling match that tells a story.
Kind of sounds like to me, and obviously not seeing it, I really do want to see it because I love both of these guys' work. Kind of sounds like Don Callis and Kevin Kelly are kind of breaking that sequence down a lot like Joe Rogan does in UFC.
Absolutely, for sure. No doubt about it.
You know, Joe Rogan is a comedian and one of the world's greatest stoners, but from a technical standpoint, from like color commentary and MMA, oh my God.
The man knows what he's talking about.
He makes everybody else doing color commentary in MMA his bitch. Absolutely. And everybody else that does color commentary in MMA has MMA experience, whereas Joe Rogan just has a black belt in jiu-jitsu from Eddie Bravo.
Right. And MMA is
having a black belt in jiu-jitsu from Eddie Bravo is not a walk in the park.
Right. Well, MMA is actually one of the things that makes this match an A to me because of the way that they use Shinsuke Nakamura's MMA background. Like, if you had any doubt as to whether Shinsuke Nakamura's background in MMA was kayfabe or not, you can look at him and see the way that he wrestled in Japan and the way that they won't let him wrestle in America that makes me so angry. And you can see the man knows what he's doing. And if at this point he wanted to break Okada's arm, he could have. If at this point he wanted to knock out Okada, he could have. If at this point he wanted to snap his ankle, he could have. Like, it's so well done. I cannot gush enough about Nakamura and Okada. And this is they have wrestled previously to this. And those matches are also, it's much like what you said with Cody and Darby Allin. All the matches are different. They wrestled multiple times, but they're all different because they all have a different story to tell. And this match, the story was Nakamura's hurt, Okada's young and trying to take it over, and they're clashing in this particular moment right here. The other matches have different stories that they told.
So RJ gives it an A, Brian?
A also. I mean, I would almost give this one an A plus, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I don't give those out lightly. I mean, this one just pure poetry.
Awesome.
I'm sure we went over time with me going on and on about the match. Sorry.
I knew we were
That's
going
fine.
to, and like I said, I didn't care. Whatever. Because we had 7 minutes. 7 minutes before we started talking about alluding to the Triple H thing for next week. So whatever. So I've got homework for next week. I'm looking at it on YouTube right now. Just pause. That way I can make sure I have the card right. And I'll share the link to you guys. I'll probably post this as a featured link at the end of the show for everybody else in case, so you guys can watch our homework for next week. It is actually a free match this month from Ring of Honor, because this is the month of honor and they're doing all these great free matches. So this one comes from the Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor 11. WrestleMania weekend in Orlando, RJ.
Right.
It is for the Ring of Honor Television Championship. Defending champion.
I know who all three of the guys are in this match because I think I saw this link.
No,
Huh?
there's 2 guys.
Oh, it's not a triple threat?
No, it is 1-on-1.
Okay.
Ring of Honor Television Champion. The villain, Marty Scurll.
Oh.
Whoop, whoop. Not at this point, just for timeline references, at this point, not a member of Bullet Club.
Not in Bullet Club yet.
Do you know who his opponent is, RJ?
I do. Go ahead.
The reason I mentioned he's not a member of Bullet Club is because he's facing the member of Bullet Club that he will in a few months help throw out of Bullet Club. Former 3-time Ring of Honor World Champion, and now, at this present date, the longest reigning NXT champion of all time, Adam Cole.
Baby.
At the same time, too. Nice. Well done.
Boom.
That is, I will tell you, that is one of my favorite segments ever done in Ring of Honor is the Bucks and Marty kicking Adam Cole out of the Bullet Club.
Oh
That
my
was
God.
so well done. So well done.
Marty shows up in the ring with the umbrella, opens it up, has the Bullet Club logo. Oh,
We have one of those.
because Kenny was on the video screen, right? And fired Adam Cole.
Yeah. And said every club needs a villain.
Yep. Lights come back on. Boop.
Give me one moment. I have to do this.
If this sumbitch has the umbrella,
He does.
See, I do have the umbrella, but I'm not going to get it.
okay.
It's in my minivan. Where's the umbrella? I'm coming back.
RJ has as many wrestling props in his house as friggin' Jim Cornette.
So here's this.
He has the umbrella.
I have the umbrella.
Whoop, whoop.
I also
He's got the plague mask.
have a turkey sandwich I've been working.
Ah, you son of a...
We like the villain around here.
Yeah, he's not bad. Then again, neither is the Panama City Playboy.
Right. Absolutely.
Definitely a fan of Adam Cole, baby, over in this house. So we've already gone over time limit, but I don't care. We'll consider me the executive vice president of talent and relations. Admit it, Brian. That was a good promo. That was a good impression.
You do that so well.
My Johnny Laurinaitis is not bad. It's a shitload better than my Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Don't do it.
No,
Don't do it.
just like don't do it. Hey, last time I did it, I had to put a little graphic above Brian doing. This is called the Credo face.
True story.
So, as always, we finish the show with what we like to call what we used to call the hot tag. Now we've decided to call it television time remaining. And this week, it is rapid fire questions for one, RJ. Brian and I couldn't decide on who got to do this because we both wanted to. I'm going to let Brian go. He's got 5 questions, and I'm just going to rapid fire a couple more after that. Normally it's 60 seconds on the clock, but I'm kind of like Vince McMahon right now, and I'm kind of in screw it mode because I've really had fun doing this show. So screw it. I might even do all my questions, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually have 6, so we might just do them all. So RJ, these could be wrestling, these could be pop culture, just about anything. Rapid fire answers. Are you ready?
I am ready.
A fake 60 seconds that we're about to run over because I don't care starts now.
All right, RJ, favorite old school wrestler?
Ultimate Warrior.
Okay. Favorite burger toppings?
Mayonnaise, and that's it. I literally hate every other condiment.
I like mayonnaise on a burger. That's some good stuff. Most underrated New Japan wrestler from any era?
Oh, most underrated. As highly as he's rated, I'm going to say Tetsuya Naito.
Okay.
I think he's better.
Okay. Favorite subject in school?
Science, for sure.
Nice. And the AEW wrestler that you are most excited about currently?
Kenny Omega.
Okay.
Favorite all-time Bullet Club member, not named Kenny Omega.
Oh, come on. AJ Styles.
I'm about to say, I'm not going to softball you shit. This is not the Medina Catholic League.
AJ Styles.
Dream match between WWE star and New Japan star.
Oh, right now?
Or in the recent past.
I'll probably say Tanahashi and John Cena just because they're so similar.
That's not a bad one. Favorite Boston Red Sox of all time?
David Ortiz.
Favorite choice of beverage for a night out with me and Brian?
Amaretto Sour is my drink of choice, so I'll say that.
All right. Pick one. You have to take a chop from Walter, a kick to the head from Kenta, or a series of strikes from Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, my God. Nakamura is probably not going to kill me, so Shinsuke.
All right. And last question, because I think this is one of the ultimate questions of life. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Absolutely.
I knew I liked you. Brian was like, well, if that's your thing, go ahead.
Absolutely it does.
Ian did not want to offend offend anyone on this, so he decided to do what he does best and play Switzerland. Pineapple does belong on pizza, especially if you put that shit with some ham. Follow-up question, what chain pizza joints only? Who does the best ham and pineapple?
Oh, you're not going to like my answer because nobody does, but Papa John's.
They're number 2. No, I would probably say they have the best ham and pineapple.
It's really good. I love Papa John's as much as some people hate it.
I don't hate any of the chain pizza joints. They all have something that I like. Like if we're ordering Domino's, I'm getting a chicken bacon ranch pizza and I'm destroying that sumbitch. Oh, obviously because I worked at one, I can't eat Pizza Hut pizza anymore, but I will eat their wings like they're going out of style. Because their lemon pepper seasoning is gangster. All right, so next week we get back in the rotation and I'm up for the television time remaining. And since Brian asked me questions last time, RJ, you get to fire up. You get 60 seconds of firing time directed at your boy.
All right.
Cool.
That'll be fun. Writing questions all week.
So, as always,
Write down on the calendar that I have to write questions for Patrick.
So, before we get out of here, any final thoughts?
He's getting his crack staff to remind him to do the.
This crack staff, also known as the brains of the operation.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it.
Let's be honest. We know Lady A. Lady A is the brains of that venue. She is the COO. Then again, I think we could say the same thing about all of our wives.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep.
We are three guys who are married to women smarter than us.
She'll tell you she's not smarter than me, but there's a lot of times where she is.
Let's be honest, we're guys. We're guys. They're smarter than us.
Right.
So that being said, guys, any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
Watch some wrestling this week.
Yeah.
Watch some wrestling this week. Hey, you know what? One last thing. Let's have a little bit more fun. Non-wrestling content. Give our audience something to watch this week, whether it be on demand, a movie.
Oh, that's so easy for me right now.
Go for it.
Go back and start at the beginning and watch every episode of Prodigal Son. They had the greatest season finale I've ever seen on television this week.
Nice.
Prodigal Son, my favorite show.
I'll go next. If you like basketball, start watching the ESPN documentary, The Last Dance. Damn.
So good.
So good. It is as good in terms of amazing as Tiger King is dumpster fire.
Well, I have to twist that into wrestling a little bit because like everything ties back into wrestling, you know. I really, really hope that on The Last Dance, they cover the time that Dennis Rodman skipped practice during the finals to show up as a member of the NWO.
Have to, because it was that season.
Right. They had
They do talk about it. It might be this weekend, as a matter of fact, that they talk about it.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Could be.
But yeah, The Last Dance has been so good. I mean,
and I'll wrap it up with.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Patrick. Sorry.
Okay. I was going to say, especially if you're a fan of basketball, if you're a fan of Michael Jordan and how great he was, and especially that 98 Bulls team, which, I'm sorry, Golden State Warriors fans, that is the greatest basketball team of all time. Why? Because they went 72-10 and won the championship, as opposed to going 73-9 and then blowing a 3-1 lead in the finals to Cleveland.
Which we thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah. They thank you. I still want my Seattle Supersonics back. Thank you very much.
And I'll give you something else to binge watch. My wife and I, the Lovebird and I, love watching the Food Network and Buddy versus Duff, the second season of the Cake Boss versus Ace of Cakes, has been very, very entertaining. Watching the things they try to do in a 24-hour period and pull off is madness. So,
and they're also entertaining cats too.
Yes.
Neither one of them are boring. Let's just put it that way. Right. So guys, as always, appreciate hanging out with you guys. Appreciate talking wrestling from our usual social distancing. Because as Brian has said many times, we were social distancing before social distancing was cool. So for RJ, for Brian, for our wives, for the doctors and the nurses and the healthcare workers that are putting their lives on the line for each and every one of us. A massive shout out to Mrs. Rant Mode On, because she's one of them. We personally thank you. We personally love each and every damn one of y'all, especially the one closest to home. Thank you guys for doing what you're doing. Guys, even though some states are opening up, still be careful. Cover your shit, you know. Wash your hands. You know, if you're in a store that has one-way aisles, use them. You know, I know it's hard. Use them. Wash your damn hands. You know, this crap's ugly. So let's stay safe out there. Let's have fun. Let's keep everybody's spirits up. We thank you guys for joining us. This has been Wrestling with Egos, and until next week, that's our story, and we're sticking to it. You guys that was Batman earlier, wasn't it? Big hefty cat, white spot right here. I saw a cat.
I wasn't paying attention.
And it just kind of was like, wait a minute, I think that was Batman.
Maybe.
First appearance for Batman.
Another satisfied customer.